God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in thy holy name. Amen. Let's move the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The town board would like to acknowledge the passing of our elected official, community member, and friend, Clark Hurdick. Clark was elected in November 2015 and began his elected position as a town of Champlain councilman effective January 1st, 2016. Over the last 5 years, following his appointment, Clark diligently and professionally served the town of Champlain and all representative communities. During his time of public service, he served as a town justice, community member, volunteer. His tenure's service included many committees, most recently the building committee, and without doubt, Clark will be remembered as being active in the discussions as well as thoughtful recommendations regarding each of the town's decisions and action regarding any and many areas of public policy. As an outdoor enthusiast, athletic coach, and official, Clark carried out his love for outdoors, athletics, and his community with him, and is instrumental in involvement in planning, designing, and maintenance of the Bob Venn Park. He could often be seen mowing and maintaining the park throughout the summer and fall months. The employees and officials of the town of Champlain recognize Clark's commitment and vision to create a better community for all the residents and those who pass here as temporary visitors. The town of Champlain board will remember his kind smile and gentleness that was often displayed during his active involvement in the community service. He will be fondly remembered and dedicated individual to the betterment of the community at large. He will be greatly missed. We wish to dedicate a moment of silence in his honor. Thank you. Be sure that's in the minutes. Thank you. Just to welcome everyone here this evening. Don't know where to start. Do we have a representative from the Boy Scouts, I take it?
Yes.
Do you wish to address the board, or are you?
I'm just here to observe and then talk about my Eagle Scout project.
Okay, I'll entertain that, go ahead.
Alright, so right now I haven't done much for it because I usually go over it with my Scoutmaster, because we haven't got to that, because a couple weeks ago we were just have another Scout My Troops, his Eagle ceremony and a reception. But I do have some general ideas that I have talked to Mr. Rory before, and one of them being on the rec trail in Champlain, putting a bicycle repair station. And it's one of my ideas. I had my main idea, and you would use tools that you need to repair a bike, probably with some sort of steel wires that couldn't be stolen, some sort of bike club, any good model off of ones we have. I think there's one at Rouse's Point that could be a similar idea. We could model that off of. And yeah, so just like discussing what I need to do, what can be done right now. Like what can we discuss about it, that kind of thing.
Well, thank you. Very interesting. Tracy.
I'm next, huh?
Tracy gave me a call, I believe it was yesterday,
I did.
on an issue. Let's call it an ongoing issue.
Since they purchased the marina next to me, yes.
Okay. I did check, Tracy, with our code enforcement officer. I did expect him here tonight.
Okay.
See him.
Well, I have some, I don't have anything to pass out because I didn't have that access, but again, I'm a little nervous because I don't like to complain, but I feel I've been pushed to where I need to complain. And I guess I should start. My name is Tracy DeCoste. I live on the Lakeshore Road near the Shazy Yacht Club. And previous owners to the Yacht Club were from Vermont. When I moved in, they came over, introduced themselves, said, hey, we're who we are, glad to see you here. And then they asked if they could possibly, I share a line with them, and they asked permission to go over it a bit, to put their personal boats. And I was like, just your personal? And he goes, yes, just no selling these docks out. And as remuneration, we'll give you a dock slip as compensation for you agreeing to do this for us. And we had this relationship, and it went swimmingly. Nothing was ever awry. I had a slip every year, and I gave it to people that I knew that had a boat. I didn't have a boat, but it was there. So then, of course, time passes. It's been 18 plus years, and they have since sold the marina. And the new owners, well, even though this isn't something in your realm to address, it's because it's on the water. But they've been putting dockage behind my house without permission, without even contacting me, without talking to me. And I've been awoken probably 3 times last year in the middle of the night because of their drunkenness and starting boats that sounded like 20 Harleys going through my house. And 2 o'clock in the morning, let's just say it's hard to get back to sleep after you've been awoken and levitated above your bed 10 feet, okay? So that was part and parcel for what I had to deal with that. But then, across the street, and this started probably in May, 6 travel trailers appeared across the lot, okay? And they were doing something over there. And it appeared to be digging up, I didn't know. But the travel trailers were a concern because I'm like, what's going on here? So then it dwindled down to 5, and then eventually it settled at 4, but in the meantime, they had been busted for putting an illegal septic in by the county. And they kind of had to halt, desist, but they also learned that if they put 4 in as opposed to 5, 6, then the health department doesn't have their thumb on them. And so 4 travel trailers existed across the street from me all summer, without approval, without an area variance, without a use variance, without permitting, all summer long. I brought an audio that I took within my house to show you the noise, because here's the other reality. The wind blows from their end towards my house. So every noise, every smoke from their campfire deposits in my house. And I dealt with that all summer long. I'm going to probably get a little emotional because this has been a very anxiety-ridden experience for me. I also broke down, keep myself on track here. So let me see if I can play. I brought a little can't thing here. See if I can. Hopefully, I charged it enough. And I'm sorry, I'm going to try and do this as quickly as I can. I can find what I'm looking for. All right, let me see if I can connect this first. Oh, I don't want that. Unable to join, so hopefully this will work. I apologize again. Okay, so let me see if I can get this to work. May I put this up here?
Yeah.
This is inside my house. All summer long, I had to deal with this. This carrying on, partying, whooping it up. It was not fun. I don't know about you and your homes, but I like to go there to escape, that kind of stuff. I didn't get a chance to do that all summer. Because that is what they felt we were able to do there, because they had been given permission, and I'm gonna get to this part, inappropriately. Where I exist is residentially zoned, okay? Oh, yeah, let me not forget. So I told you about the boat episode. Also on the 4th of July, they set off fireworks at 2 o'clock in the morning. That was exciting, when you're sleeping in a deep sleep, dreaming, have fireworks explode. Yeah, there was that too. But back to the zoning, where I am is residentially zoned. Permitted uses, and I can pass this around, does not include travel trailers being allowed to be existing. It's allowed in a commercially zoned area, but not in a residential area, which I exist in. The marina must have been grandfathered in to exist there, or it is maybe a permitted use, but not a travel trailer, definitely not 4 of them. And I couldn't enlarge this, but this is the zoning for the town of Champlain. And it does show in the white areas residential, and that is where I reside. Permitted uses for, like, that's the same thing I have. But travel trailers, the travel trailer parks and whatever are allowed commercially. Oh, I just licked my mouse, that's great. I'll show you where it says that in commercial. So, this is the zoning for the town of Champlain. Permitted uses, industrial and commercial. And now upside down, I can't see it. Can you see it, Jason? It's on here somewhere, travel trailers.
Right here, campground travel trailer park.
Yes. Commercial zoning, not residential, commercial. Now, of course, right here, campground travel trailers.
Is there a residence on this parcel at all?
No.
Thank you.
Oh, Julie, you'll tell you that. Campground, residential. Oh darn, I told
The
him.
present owners.
Creepy.
Another income.
Shut that up.
Maybe issue for 1 year. You have a copy of that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. So this is the industrial commercial zoning, and down here you can see campground and travel trailer parks are under special use allowed, not just generally allowed. So, I guess I'm coming to see, just to say, I guess I'm complaining. I don't like to complain. I've lived there 18, 19 years, and I've never complained once about anything, but I feel if I don't, I'm gonna be stuck with this annoyance. And you know, the value of my home resides in the summer. It's not the winter. I'm not sitting in the back of my house, sipping a margarita, looking at the frozen ice. I'm using it in the summer, when it's warm, and enjoying it with enjoyment. And I didn't have 1 ounce of enjoyment, because I had this all around me. But I guess my biggest thing is that it's residentially zoned, and it shouldn't even be allowed in the first. It should have been a hard no. You can't do this. Right off the bat, it shouldn't even have been entertained. And I'm just not sure why it was, but it really needs to be remedied, because I can't stay in my house holed up all summer with my windows closed because it's too loud. Seriously, I played my TV and the music was so loud I could hear it over my TV. This is what I dealt with all last summer, and they're gearing up because there's 1 travel trailer there already. And if I'm starting to sound angry, because it really makes me mad, because you know I've been paying on taxes and my payment on my house for 18 years, and now I've got to not be able to enjoy it because I have this being allowed. And I know that it's not just me. I get the brunt of it because of the wind direction. Everything blows towards my house. And I know I'm one person, but I guess that's why previous owners, when Chick and Ernie bought the place, they were told specifically by the previous owners, and I'm saying this firsthand because Chick and Ernie told me, you can't do that here. And the previous owners to them told them, you can't do this here. You can't have a travel park. And I understand why. I mean, when you go up to Monty's Bay, do you really want that kind of thing developing in our town? I mean, it looks like a homeless shelter going through there. And I know people like to camp, I'm not begrudging them, but at the same time, it's an eyesore. And you have this beautiful lake, and then you've got all this stuff. I just, but mostly it's because it's diminishing my enjoyment of my home that I'd like to stay in. But it's making it very hard to enjoy it when I have this to deal with. And it's mostly anxiety that I'm dealing with. I thank you for listening to me ramble on, but this is my only recourse to try and get this situation rectified. Otherwise, I know it's gonna be hard to tell them no, but at the same time, they should never have been given that permission in the first place. And that's my stance on it.
It's my understanding he has a 1 year, I don't call it temporary, but a 1 year permit.
Yes, every year, this is what Mike came up with. Every year, again, still not allowed because it's not a permitted use
Okay.
in the residential area.
Do you have a copy of that?
Yeah,
Do you know when it expires?
of the permitting?
Yeah.
No, I have no knowledge of that. This was something Mike told me.
Oh, okay.
That was his only way to deal with making them happy, or giving them the chance to put them there. And I'm like, well, Mike, you just should say no. No, it's not allowed. But whatever. I don't know what the underpinnings of that was. I did have something else here. Oh, it's right here. Nope, I guess I don't. So that's the crux of it, you know, it's just should not have been allowed. And now that they've been allowed to do it all summer without permits, without proper zoning, permitting, I think they feel like they do behind my house, putting dogs behind my house, that they just have every right to do it. And I'm appealing to somebody to rectify this. I tried to do it all last summer, and nobody listened to me. So that's why I'm here.
As far as the dock on the river,
That's something out of your realm.
that's
Yes.
DID or whoever.
It'd be the
Army Corps of
DEC.
Engineer, DEC,
And
yeah.
I've been talking to Bill about this,
Yeah.
so, again, my deed says I own the land under the water. And past practice and understanding through the process of permitting to put docks anywhere is that it is allowed only with my permission or previous owners and with remuneration, meaning compensation for it. There's been none of that. Nobody's called me, nobody's talked to me, it's just been done because as he said, I could put docks all the way behind your house if I felt like it. Because his dock plan in his application, that's from the 1960s, shows that they existed there. Which,
Yeah, but once you have new owners, that does not automatically grandfather you
no,
to what the previous owners had. I know that because I own lake frontage property.
correct.
And I've worked with DEC, I've worked with the Army Corps of Engineers, so.
Yep.
I think that's really something that you have to, you
Oh,
know, in those,
I'm on it.
yes, good, good.
Believe
Yep.
me, because I can't go another summer with this craziness. And that fact that it's been allowed, my whole summer was horrible. I had no ounce of enjoyment whatsoever, and that shouldn't be the case. And these new neighbors have come in and acted like they can do just whatever they want. And I'm fighting hard to try and rectify the things I can with logic. You know, logic would tell you that you just can't do that. You
Right.
can't just put stuff behind someone. If that's the case, I'll go get an Army Corps of Engineer permit and put some docks in front of Celine Paquette's on the road that people that own the marina now live. How about I do that? Does that make any sense? No. But to them, they think they can do this. It has been a fight struggle since last spring. And I'm tired, but I want to get this fixed, and I want it to be fixed appropriately.
And in the later hours, Tracy, have you ever contacted somebody in terms of like law enforcement as far as disturbing the peace? Something along those lines, anything, no?
Well, from what Mike always told me, decibel levels are part and parcel of determining whether it's a disturbance or not, and I have no way to determine.
Okay.
I just know that when I'm in my house, I can hear their music over my TV. And what I play for you, again, it wasn't amplified that much, but in my house, it was amplified. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay,
I
thank you.
appreciate listening to my
I did ask,
complaining session.
Julie thinks she has a copy of that. Let's call it a one-year permit. I will review that and get with it.
Well, they had came before the board, right?
Yes.
Because Tracy was on the board. They came because at first Mike, if I remember right,
Zoning board.
yes,
Yes.
Mike told them they had to come and get special use approval.
It was area variance first, because they only have 3-point-some acres, and they needed 5 to be able to do what they wanted.
Yes, and then
And-
they needed special use. But then, and it was sent to the county and everything, and then all of a sudden it just, like, I don't know, disappeared. And said that they didn't need the approval anymore. So honestly, I'm not really even sure what Mickey issued them.
He told me it was gonna be
I'm sure I
a
can
year-to-year
look in the
permit to allow, they'd have to come and apply, and then be granted a permit for the year, for the summer, whatever. And then they'd have to do that every year, and Mickey said that if there's any complaints on their behavior or whatever, their existence, then it would be yanked. But I shouldn't even have to do that. I shouldn't even have to tolerate any of this stuff, because it's not allowed.
It's on the record now, Jason.
Well, and again, I don't like to complain, I've never complained about anything, but I don't know what else to do, because nobody's been listening to me for about over a year and a half, and trying to fix this. And it's to the point where I'm in tears sometimes, because this is my house, this is what I've been paying for and striving to fix and exist in as a refuge, not to have that constantly around me. If I want to party or go have fun, I'll go somewhere else, come home, it's my house, you know? And I don't doubt any one of you disagree with that. I mean, it's your home, it's your refuge. You don't want to be inundated with the noise and craziness and drunkenness all 24/7 all summer. And that's what this is, it's a party place. It's a party place for them to go party, live it up, and whip it up, and then be a disturbance all summer long.
Were these trailers taken off the parcel during the winter months?
Yes, they were. Because they were told that, there is a travel trailer rule, but I'm assuming it's for commercial because you can't have them under residential. And you have to, it's like, actually, I can read it to you. A travel trailer may be temporarily inhabited for up to 15 days per year on any property. Any travel trailer that is inhabited or used for sleeping or eating quarters must be connected to adequate water, sewer, and electrical facilities, which they weren't at the initial start of the summer, because they had put an illegal septic in and had to remedy it. If electrical power is supplied by a generator, the noise from the generator may not exceed 65 decibels at the nearest property line and may not be operated between the hours of 10 and 7 p.m. Which, it wouldn't matter because their noise from them, just themselves drinking was enough. Before a travel trailer can be inhabited on a property for more than 15 days, a permit must be obtained. They had none of that last year. From the town of Champlain zoning officer, a maximum allowed days per permit is 150 consecutive days. Only one permit per parcel may be issued in any calendar year. Once such a permit has been issued and expired, the travel trailer must be moved by at least 30 feet to a new location and be inhabited for at least 200, and cannot be inhabited for at least 215 days, after which the 150 days have been met. Again, this to me implies, because it's not allowed in the residential area, that this is what applies to travel trailers in commercial and other commercial areas. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. This language has to exist for commercial zoned areas, not residential, because it's not allowed in a residential area. And the zoning, all that zoning is on our on the Champlain website, so if you wanted to peruse it and stuff and look.
I'm certainly gonna be looking into that one-year permit. Does any board member have any other questions for Tracy?
All right, thank you very much for listening.
Not a problem.
Whoops,
Okay, thanks.
there's water.
Village Water Board, I guess will be next.
All right, well,
Clarification or where we wanna start, or Rick, or?
yeah, I mean, you invited us here because you wanted to be updated. I sent you the minutes and a brief summary, and all the documents, and asked if you had any questions to let us know. I mean, it looks like we're on track, other than, it looks like there's a small increase, you know, in expenses and supplies. And the water plant insurance increased some in comparison to last year. And then we, I also provided the water loss data for 2020. I'm working on getting data compiled for our water board fiscal year. You have to remember, we look at July to July, so we can report to the boards in September. So we're not in the same fiscal year as either the town or the village. We're actually splitting the 2 years. Our report, like last year's report, was for 19 and 20, this year's will be for 20 and 21. But just for your information, because I know there was a lot of concern, because last year's report said that a substantial part of our water loss was the effluent, which is the backwash for the filters at the softening plant. And as you can see, in 2020, it accounted for 51% of the water loss. And hydrant flushing was approximately 9% of that water loss. And 41% of it is unaccountable. So that's gonna be breaks, toilet leaks, both town and village side, of course. Would account for all the rest of that water, which is, in 2020 was 10.6 million gallons. So did you have a chance to review that, guys?
Yeah, I've had a chance to look through it. You know, per your request by the water board to kind of forward you questions, I've taken the time to look through it a little bit this weekend, receiving it just this past Friday. So I did have some questions, but I did not have time to formulate those and kind of send them your way.
Mm-hmm.
One question that does kind of pop into my mind is, that's a substantial decrease in the area of revenues for the village. I noticed about 34%. Is there any one reason as to why that is, Tom?
With water?
Why that large loss in terms of the revenue of the water?
Not selling as much water.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was something that, you know,
The
was
border
coming to the
alone
front.
was a huge reduction.
Right.
Could you point out exactly what number you're pointing to?
I'm looking at the details of your revenue. If you look at the actual modified budget, in terms of the earned amount, for 2019, it was 249,356 rounded. This year, it's 537.71. So I'm just kind of trying to compare and look and say, you know, that's a substantial loss of revenue. I didn't know if there was any one particular.
You look at the same time frame, by the way?
Yes,
The same number of months?
yes.
Okay. Don't know.
Okay.
None of us really have a answer to that, I guess.
Okay. And that's why, I didn't want to,
I do know there's less water billed.
right.
I don't think I had last year in front of me, do I? Hang on a second, we have noise. If I'd have been prepared, I would've, or known of that question, I would've brought that document.
All right.
Have you got the total billed and total produced? You don't, okay. No. Well, I guess
But that's all right.
to
Moving
answer
forward,
that
we can kind
question,
of find it.
it's obviously less water sold.
Right. No, I knew that. I mean, that was a given. I just didn't know if there were specific criteria as to why that there was less water sold. That's all.
No, because between the 2 years, the
K-gal price hasn't changed.
Right, exactly.
It's just less water billed.
Okay. Okay.
In the water loss, when you broke it down, these are numbers that are unique to this, meaning they are numbers that were calculated previously, like through other years. So there's a, like, I'm asking if there's been if there's a comparison between what's being lost, say, in 2020 versus, say, what's been lost in 2017 or 2019, or, does that
No.
make sense?
Well, I wouldn't have these fluid numbers prior to 18 when the plant started up.
Okay, so fair enough,
You
yeah.
know, I'm hoping to continue with this.
Okay,
This is 2020, so in this year's report, I will compile July to July of 20 through 21 and come up with an accurate number, and if I can get them to go back, I will try to do a 19 and 20 as well.
sure.
But that's all, it's all we're gonna get other than that, I can tell you what the total losses are. That's all, I wouldn't be able to tell you the affluent.
Okay.
And this is, you know, I applaud the water board. I think you've done a wonderful job in terms of providing us with documentation that I think answered some of the questions that we didn't have first time around. And so I think this has made it a little bit easier to kind of, you know, look at not only the production, but also the distribution and the flushing, and try to identify then, for me primarily, is to identify where the inefficiencies are. You know, how do we reduce that so-called loss of water from where it is? And it might not be until the entire infrastructure is replaced where, you know, we can kind of find, you know, that common ground, so.
Agreed, but you gotta remember that if you drive that water loss down, you're not gonna gain a lower price.
No, I'm not talking about the price of the water. I'm talking about in terms of the actual, like, if you look at, you know, the backwashing and you look at the amount of gallons that you're producing, I'm more concerned about, like, just that unaccountable water loss, that 41%. And how do we find a way to make, you know, that where we're not losing as many gallons, because, you know, the cost of that gets pushed, you know, in every direction. Everybody pays for that, so.
Well, I just wanna point out that 41% is 41% of the total, which the total was
Correct.
47, so let's make that clear.
Correct, yeah,
It's not 41% of what we produce.
right,
And again, it's, you know, water breaks, water losses,
correct.
leaks,
Yeah, the leaks, yeah,
fires,
yeah,
the fire department going out and running their Monday night drills.
Correct.
Using water, it's all part of that number. You know, and there's no way to account for that accurately. There really isn't. So what I provided was what we can account for. And that's simply, we're now accounting for the gallons that we're using for flushing. We just started that. That I only have since this water board started requesting data.
yep,
That's all I can say. If you look at the flushing document that was sent out, you can see that there's more water flushed in the town than there is in the village. It's something like a comparison, what did you say, Mike, was it 81 hydrants to 60 something?
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah.
An example for this 2020 fall flushing, it was 493,000 gallons flushed in the village and 736 gallons was used to flush the town line, the district line. And even though that fall flushing accounted for 5%. And as you can see, the spring flushing was an estimate because I did not have
Correct.
hard data on that one.
Yep.
Mike still owes me that. So I estimated it based off this data and a comparison to last year's. So does this give you guys a good idea where we're at, or?
Yeah, I think it, you know, we're further ahead than what we were last year, no question.
Okay, in regards to,
So-
knowing where we're headed, in regards to not being surprised, is that what you're talking about?
As of right now, I think this gives us, you know, everything that we need right now, Tom. There will be some questions that I probably will have in regards to, you know, some of the details of the expenditures. But again, in fairness to you, these were not forwarded to you ahead of time, but we will follow up with those questions in our later in the year meeting, so.
Okay. The board would like to know, but mostly I'm gonna ask this question as a village delegate. Where are we at with last year's decision? The last that the village heard was in March. When we thought we were to an agreement, you were sending it to your lawyer. And we haven't heard from you since.
And we have not heard from Matt in regards to that, so,
Since March?
Yep. Since March.
That's unheard of.
Yep. Yeah, that March 24th correspondence that transpired between you, Janet, and I, that correspondence was sent to Matt, so, yep.
I would hope you can finalize that before the next decision for the
Yep.
sake of district users.
Any other questions from us or to them, or from them to us?
Do you have anything, Larry?
No. I certainly relied on Rick and Jason very heavily to go through these figures. So we trust their judgment.
Okay, anything else?
Just as you said, that we'd like to hear, you know, when their attorney gets back from them on this.
Yeah, I mean, we're nearing, my feeling is we're nearing the closure of this year's report. I mean, September's coming fast. And you were provided a report in October, and we're still sitting here waiting for your agreement or pointing out as to what was done incorrectly or whatever. We still have an answer. The village was prepared in March to lower the water rate for the district, and we couldn't because you wouldn't give us an answer whether you're going to meet the requirements or not. So our hands are tied. I don't understand. That's a long time to make that relatively small decision.
Okay? Anybody else have anything? If not, we can move on. I'd like to approve the minutes of April 13th.
I make a motion that we approve April 13th minutes.
I'll second. Any questions on April 13th regular board meeting? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Your, clerk's monthly report.
Excuse me, board, if you excuse us, we're gonna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm tripping you up.
Thank you, everybody.
Sorry about that.
And, good luck, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you. I need it.
The town clerk's monthly report, do I have a motion for that? Nice, I always like my glasses. Could I have a motion on town clerk's monthly report?
I make a motion that we approve the town clerk's monthly report, April 1st, April 30th.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions on the town clerk's monthly report for the month of April? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's also carried. You have your minutes for the zoning board. Please read them, very interesting. I read them completely. You got your JCO monthly report, and activities there. Fairly active, month of April. It's strictly for information only. Dog control officer. We have a resignation in Kaylee Bridge. I have a recommendation to appoint Jody Perrier. He is presently the dog control officer of the town of Shazy and Beekman. Annual salary of $10,000. That'll be prorated for this year. And we have to have a contract with SPCA, we're trying to get that figure. That figure last year was $4,000, we don't know what it is this year. That certainly will be prorated for the rest of the year also, okay?
We had to do one with Eagle Feather, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's for,
Dangerous dogs.
dangerous dogs, yes. Okay. And I believe that was, he charges $500 a year?
That's correct.
Okay, either way, we gotta have that, okay? So I'd like a motion to approve Jody, starting this weekend. Our dog control officer presently is resigning the 14th of this month, which is Friday, okay?
Effective as of Friday?
Yeah.
Pardon? Yes,
Effective.
yes. So he started on Saturday. Okay. Any questions on the appointment? I mean, I need to know that first, probably. Jody is a retired lieutenant off the county sheriff's department. He's well versed in dealing with people. Okay.
Do you need two separate motions, and then one to accept the resignation?
Yes,
and-
probably, yes, that would be appropriate. Kaylee Bridge, it used to be Kaylee Mills, Kaylee Bridge now.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Kaylee Bridge as the dog control officer,
Like 14th.
effective as of May 14th, 2021. Thank you for her service.
Okay. Have a second, did I?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Now I'd like a motion to approve, if it's the desire of the board, Jody. We did check with both town supervisors that he now serves extensively. Both of them are pleased. Okay.
I make a motion that we approve Jody Perrier as the town of Champlain dog control officer effective 5/14/21.
I'd like to second that.
At a salary of $10,000.
At a salary of
Okay,
$10,000.
thank you. I have a motion and a second. Is there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Just for information only, AC Power, they're the company that was considering putting a solar project on our present county landfill here in the town of Champlain. Got a notice about a week or so ago, that project is not a go. It's off the books for a while. It had nothing to do with us, it was all about them hooking onto the main line, so now I can't explain it to you, I don't know. And, she said there may be hope in the future, but I don't know that, okay? So that's strictly for information. I got a call yesterday afternoon at 4:10. We had a proposal to sell our sand pit and moors. That deal fell through as of yesterday. So the sand pit will be back on the market. It's being marketed through Kavanaugh Realty right now. That's who we were dealing with. Okay? Some are strictly for information. Superintendent's highway report, I really can't report much other than we had I'm not gonna say an easy winter, but a decent winter. We have quite a bit of sand left over from last winter, which is good. They're done sweeping the roads, the sand off the roads that they normally do on the main highways. That's been done. We're gonna be preparing soon for paving a couple of roads this summer. It'll be at least July before they're paved, I believe. Okay, that's all I have there. Pre-billing report, we need to approve that.
Yes.
I have the pre-billing report for the EDU accounts. Just got these this evening here.
I make a motion that we approve the pre-billing EDU accounts, total units,
Okay.
459.70.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions on the EDU building? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Rick already proved it.
Pardon?
Rick
I already
approved
did,
it,
you just need a second.
Oh,
and Jason seconded it.
okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Do you have anything, town clerk, other than bills?
You don't just the bills.
Okay. You have your bills. You need to approve, the abstract, those that we pay on an annual basis, monthly basis, but you need to pay the monthly bills?
There's a few that I have to add.
Yes. You need to read those separately?
And those, this?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we got all tech, port grant for cameras for $2,834.65. Casella, $90.12. Clinton County Treasurer's Office, $20.24 for envelopes for the assessor. First Light, $122.21 for internet. Press Republican for legal, for zoning and highway contractual, $967.60. And Verizon bill for $42.83.
Strictly for information only, the building cameras for the court, that's the grant money, that's in and out, so to speak, there's no cost to the town. You have to pay the bill, okay? We have a grant for that. They're in and installed. Has everybody reviewed the monthly bills that would like to? I need a motion. Any concerns about the bills?
No?
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we pay the bills.
Thank you.
I'll second
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor?
that. Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? It's also carried. Okay, go ahead.
Water District, number 6 disbursement approval, number 72. County Champlain for $873.87. It's for water parts for Henderson and Dupree.
Okay. There's 2 anticipated hookups that we intend to do soon, real soon. Okay?
Yeah, that's it.
You have a motion on this?
Not yet.
Not yet, we're waiting for you to finish up on it. Make a motion that we approve bill number 72, payable in the amount of $873.87 to Henderson and Dupree for water parts.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's also carried. Does anybody else have anything? Yes, Calvin?
Yes, sir.
Good news only now.
Well, not good news, but I want to add my condolences to the Hurdick family and to the town for the loss of Clark. On a personal note, 2 years ago when I was doing some brickwork, I wasn't doing it, but Bob Bessero was doing some brickwork at my house. Clark saw that and showed up one day with bricks and advice, and he was just a font of information, and he was like that Energizer bunny. That guy just wouldn't slow down. He was always working. The Bob Ben Park, you mentioned that. When that backstop was delivered there, I'd go drive by there and I'd kind of duck so he wouldn't see me because I felt guilty. He's out there knocking the cement off the posts so they could be put in the ground properly. He just, the guy was a non-stop. Downtown Champlain, I went to St. Mary's, so I spent 12 years roaming those streets in downtown Champlain, and compared to it, they looked like when I was a kid, just a different community, but he and Janet have worked so hard to bring back one building at a time, and what he was doing with the Falcon Drug Store was just great. So the community suffered a loss when Clark left us. We mentioned it earlier before we went on, the news is out today on the Wyeth property. A business is going in there. Hopefully it looks like it could be a promising business, but it's at least that's first step, and it looks like a good first step from what we can see there. People like Tracy might be interested in knowing there's going to be a resolution tomorrow night at the county legislature extending the the state septic tank replacement fund for the Isle of Mount watershed, which we are part of. So people in that Isle of Mount watershed who need to improve their septic tanks, there's grant funding to assist them to pay for part of that septic tank replacement. So spread the word to anybody that you know that has property along the Lake Champlain, or I'm sure the river would qualify in that category too. At a health department meeting, they pointed out to us that the Lyme disease has really gone up. From 2019 to 2020, we had 150+% increase.
How much?
150, from 63 to 163, 150% plus increase in Clinton County in our Lyme disease. So, and the ticks are supposed to be bad this year. So, so what we did last year might even go up again. So just spread the word to people to take that serious, because it happened last year and it's going to happen again this year. And the sales tax, we've got our April report. On the cumulative actual, we're up 4% over last year, surprisingly. So we're now at a point where we're ahead of last year's actual accumulations of sales tax. 400,000 over, that's a good start. As far as the county projecting it, they always project low, so we're 2.3 million above our projections. So considering that our projection was 8 million something and we're at 10.5, that's a good percentage over what our projections were. So that is good news. So hopefully that'll continue, even though we all miss our Canadian neighbors.
Very much so.
That's basically all I got, unless you got any questions.
I have nothing else.
No, I would just maybe recommend letting Sarah know, and maybe we can put that information out there about the increase in the Lyme disease. And just to let our, folks that live inside the town of Champlain be aware of that, so.
Okay, thank you.
I can give you, give you the numbers so she can
Great,
share that.
that'd be appreciated, thank you.
That's right in the corner.
Yep. Thank you. I'll give that to Sarah.
Thank you for sharing that. And Richard, thank you for coming today. The town will work with you on your project.
Anybody else have anything else? If not, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn for the evening.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.